So plagued by connection issues tonight, I'm just going to continue and just catch up to Alcazar. At the last moment there, HolyHammer, just about to lose his knob, did do a call the boys, so did get them up to full, and I'll count you in at 3, 2, 1, and go.
Yep.
So HolyHammer desperately trying to keep these VPs up. Just gone 2-1 to Jamus, and counting down to 27 seconds. So it's on the countdown to the lose here.
Probably losing another shooter.
Yeah, down it goes. Looks like he's just going to get this decap off though.
Yeah.
Does manage to get the decap off.
That one brave shooter, he wants to cap the point so badly, but he is royally screwed. He's really royally screwed.
Yeah.
Well, that's the war boss facing up against the two Reveners again and goes down.
Oh dear. So I think this is going to be a GG now. Knobs are going to be able to deal with those two Termagants, but they are only two Termagants after all.
Yeah.
And not going to get this point up in time. Commandos burn a bomb, but it misses.
Yeah. Well, right now he tries to get the point with the knobs and tries to deny the other points with the K-knobs, the commandos, so until some other units arrive. Problem is, he doesn't have any other units.
And commandos are going to go down here again. Down they go. Slugger's about to build. Jamus is floating a mega ton of requisition and power here, so he could buy some more units at any time.
It's pretty much checkmate.
And there is the game over. So let's quickly jump into the stats. Just see what happened there. Sorry, apologies to anyone watching the cast if it seems very disjointed. Steam, being the great mechanism that it is at the moment, does cut you off in the middle of a replay. So we did the best that we can. Jamus, level 6 Hive Tyrant. Level 4 for HolyHammer, but 3 commander losses for HolyHammer.
No. That is what will happen if you. I kind of think he threw away his war boss 1 or 2 times too much. To be honest, he didn't really pay attention at some times, but well, that happens if you play against such high DPS units like Reveners, which can drop you in a mere second.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that why he didn't buy any war gear, but some war gear might have been a little bit advantageous in stopping that war boss going down. 105 units killed for Jamus and 106 lost, so the attrition pretty close overall. But Jamus just seemed to have a ton more stuff at the end there.
Yeah, well, the first loss was really quite late. In the end, also first unit loss, which was the Sluggers, and then was the Death Dread, if I remember correctly. So it really was Holy really pressured in the beginning, had some attrition losses on Jamus' side, and in the end it turned around as the Reveners fielded, and then Reveners don't really have a lot of attrition. You have not really much units lost.
Yeah.
So it evens it out a little bit.
But even though Holy was taking those, like the attrition was pretty close. HolyHammer 8,182 requisition collected to the 7,000 of Jamus, and that tells a big story. Like that's a ton of rec. That's 1,180 rec difference there or thereabouts, and you can buy a lot for 1,180 rec. More power to Jamus because he did do the power bashes there, but Holy just possibly maybe not getting the right units at the right time. Battle Wagon, I'm not sure how great a choice the Battle Wagon is. It worked out okay for him, but
well, he really played a little bit reckless with his commandos, to be honest.
Yeah.
He threw away, I don't know, did he 2 or 3 commandos? I don't know.
Lost him 3 times, but yeah, he had to buy him back twice.
Yeah, and the requisition comes not really from the additional requisition points, but in the end, I think they were split up even. But the way higher upkeep James had with this tier 1 army with 2 Revenants, 2 Termagants, his Homer guns, which he kept, I think, the whole game, or pretty long. And yeah, you get a high upkeep with that. So that's the reason why Holy got more requisition at that point.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it just looked like really late on when the game looked like it was already decided. James could have bought an extra unit there, but when he was into tier 3, he couldn't actually afford a super unit because his upkeep was that high that he just wasn't and his attrition was so big that he just wasn't getting enough requisition and power to. Well, I think he had the power, but he wasn't getting the requisition to buy a super unit for sure.
Well, he had like reinforcement 89 and Holy had only 50, so yeah, he got some attrition losses and that he always had to replenish, and so the requisition was mostly spent on reinforcements
Yeah.
and not more units he could
Okay.
buy.
Cool. So what did you think of the game overall?
Balance wise or gameplay wise?
Both. Let's go
um,
balance first and then gameplay.
um, I would say, yeah, I don't know. In Holy would have won this. He could possibly won. It's not like he had no chance. It's mostly came to him making some crucial mistakes, like losing his sluggers when he wanted to go for a battle wagon, and so you don't can really count on the balance in that case. I think the balance that in this case, if you have to go by this replay, you would have to consider it even for this matchup, Warbus versus Hive Tyrant.
Okay.
But there's a big but. We have, yeah, like Holy could have won if he didn't lost his Warbus a few times, which we already agree, pointed at, and like I said again, the sluggers, which I don't know. If you lose your sluggers and then go for a battlewing, that's, I don't know. That's a bad decision in my opinion.
Yeah, we had a look back at the
And
slug.
also the commanders who really didn't last it long.
Yeah.
I mean, he got risky with them. I mean, you saw this epic commando now with one man using Laughter Ducker on this one Revener, but you see in that decision how reckless he actually played with his units, and that you can't afford against 2 Reveners.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we had a look back at the slugger loss, and it was a little bit of a bad one. It looked like he'd not paid attention to the unit, and eventually, when he did keep hold of them, it was just too late to, when he did look back at them, it was too late to really catch them, and that's when they were lost. And big loss there. Shooters was possibly avoidable, but less so. It was good play by Jamus to take those down, and
Yeah, for example, and also I really have to say, James didn't make any mistakes, and Holy did. So how can you blame this on balance if you really have to go by mistakes and how good both players played? Sure, Holy had an advantage in the beginning, but it wasn't because James made any mistake. He didn't really lost any troops. He didn't done any reckless decisions. He just played a standard game, and Holy still got the advantage in the beginning. And in the end, it really came down to Holy making mistakes. So balance-wise, you can't fault Tyranids in this case.
okay. So I like that. I like that perspective. So you think it was mainly due to too much attrition from HolyHammer, losing too many units, maybe going for a little bit of a poor unit choice, like holding out for that battle wagon might have cost him a bit too much map control, a bit too much getting pushed back, losing his gens, etc. Where he could have got a tier 3 unit a lot sooner,
Yeah.
which could
And
have made.
also, like here, you saw that one situation where the um, Death Threat was about to get away with 1 HP, and he sent him back into the army. And
Yeah.
like at that point, for example, if he had his sluggers, he could have repaired it, and if he didn't lost, he could have had an advantage, couldn't have pressured him much, and it adds up a little bit in the end.
Lesson for the kids out there, don't lose units, it's bad. It's going to lose you games. Losing units like a Death Dread, although it is a throwaway unit, it's only 250 rec, 70 power. 70 power is a lot of power in the long run, and that's going to hurt your economy.
Yeah. Especially if he also got Bellwayne costs 70 energy, and he also gets Burner Bits upgrade, which is an additional 20 energy.
Oh right, yeah, God. So he's got the 250 70, and he's got 180 20. So that's an expensive loss. If he'd have kept that Death Dread and he'd moved it back into his base, and if he'd had his sluggers, or he'd at least rebuilt his sluggers, which he definitely could have done at a lot of stages, especially if he hadn't lost his war boss, he could have built his sluggers back for nearly the same cost as buying his war boss back. He could have repaired that Death Dread, he could have got it out, and a repaired Death Dread, although it would have taken his sluggers out of battle for a little bit, just losing it outright was just a much worse situation for him than getting it back to base and having it sat there while it had a repair.
For example, if he had his sluggers also in the late, he could have gone in the middle and destroyed those both Bruteness. I don't really know how much of an impact they had, but for example, a little bit additional zeal doesn't hurt you.
Yeah, they did a little bit. Those Bruteness looked like they had a little bit of impact. I don't know if the positioning was that great. He was pulling back a little bit to them and reinforcing, etc. So they certainly played a part. So yeah, like you say, I don't think it's a major. It's not a cut and dry, balanced perspective thing. There was a significant lead from HolyHammer in the start, and no one can argue that. But I don't think it was down to the overpoweredness of the Hive Tyrant that really swung the game massively in Jamus's favour there.
Yep.
Okay, so
I will agree on that.
Okay, so any final words from yourself, Alcazar?
Was a pleasure to cast with you.
Yeah,
and
same.
Hope to see you guys back.
Yeah, and I guess thanks everyone for watching. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.